All right, so our next guest represents the face of DJing here on the island of St. Martin. We're here to talk about his amazing story, but his story has been far from easy. He went from a man being neglected, overlooked, shunned, to being one of the most respected and lovable DJs in the Caribbean as we know it. In fact, you voted for him for being the best DJ on the island for 13 consecutive years in the Daily Herald. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't tell you how excited I am to be welcoming the Cut Creator DJ Outkast. Cut Creator DJ Outkast.
What's poppin', homie?
An honor and a privilege to have you on the show.
Honor is truly mine, my brother.
How are you feeling today?
One day at a time, bro. Just God is great. Bless me for another day of life. And
exactly how I feel about it. So you know how you prepare for something so long and like the moment is here? That's it for me at least. Yeah. So I'm feeling good. Thank you, and let's get right into it. I want to start off this interview a little bit differently than I do the others. I want to start with a question of introspection.
Okay.
Do you sometimes ask yourself if you believe all of this shit? As in, you are able to provide for your family by doing the thing that
Absolutely
you
not.
do internationally, locally?
Absolutely not.
Crazy,
it's still like a dream that I haven't woken up from yet.
Absolutely. And considering the journey that you particularly been through, the story of being the outcast to becoming the lovable DJ, the Cut Creator DJ Outkast.
It was a hell of a journey, let me tell you that.
Yes.
It was a hell of a long road. But no, to answer your question, absolutely not.
Yeah.
This is like a dream I'm waking up for every morning. I could have been in an office somewhere. I could have been doing what my dad originally wanted me to do. My father wanted to be a firefighter. My father wanted me to be a casino controller. Something stable.
No way.
Something reliable. Something that not some pipe dream I'm chasing. And the fact that I can wake up every day and do this, what I love, and still take care of my family and, travel the world, go places that, we only read about in books growing up, coming from a small island like this. It's a blessing. It's nothing but a blessing. And I'm so grateful for that, bro.
Absolutely. So explain to people why it is that you're actually called DJ Outkast. There's a story behind it.
There's two sides of that story, actually. So first off, the rap group.
Yeah.
Big Boy Andre 3000, who wasn't a fan of Outkast growing up.
Absolutely.
And I, for some reason, just gravitated to them so much, especially what they was talking about coming from, like, different parts of the ATL. What they was speaking from first album up until they stopped, it just resonated with me.
Yeah.
That's part one of the story, and I knew all of the lyrics for the songs in back in the day, so that's one part of the story. But the other part of the story, of course, was how I grew up. I felt like I was an outcast in my society growing up because, especially in high school, bro, especially in high school, could you imagine just being the only white kid in every class?
You'd get picked on, you get bullied.
It was rough.
Yeah.
So it kind of molded me. It kind of, forced me to become an individual and become stronger off that. Jay-Z once said, is either you fall or you choose to stand, and I chose to stand. And it made me who I am today, and I'm so grateful for that, bro.
Understood. Now, when you look back, seeing your whole DJ career from the beginning to its current moment, when exactly was the transition moment from being, the hated, neglected white boy to the people's DJ of St. Martin, the Cut Creator?
It was a process. I can remember starting in 96, 97. That's when I picked it up from dad, because my dad was one.
Yeah.
But he never was on the level I wanted to be on, playing in clubs and traveling and all that. Dad mostly used to do, because he owned a record store in town.
Right.
And
Al's Records and Electronics.
Al Hodge Records and Electronics, and he made his own modified version of mixtapes before mixtape was a thing.
Right.
So a lot of people from Trinidad would call my dad the first pirate in music.
Yeah.
So he would get the records and all that, and then put it on cassette, mix all of the hot songs on one cassette and sell those cassettes. That was what he was DJ-wise. So when he closed the shop, I had all of this equipment and records to my disposal, and I had no interest in being a DJ, bro. If I told you what I wanted to be, you're going to laugh at me.
The wrestler.
I wanted to be a wrestler. Who didn't want to jump off the top rope at that time? Who didn't want to do that? That was what I wanted to do. And that was where my focus was. But
what was crazy is Al has been telling me that he had to fix a whole lot of beds.
Oh yeah,
for the type of shenanigans you have to be.
Many a nights I had to sleep in the bed still because I was afraid I was gonna fall in. Like, should I turn or should I not? No, because you got to get that elbow right, man.
Yeah.
Nah, but it is what it is.
Love that.
You know, coming from that, and then, you know, I will never forget the day what really set it off for me. Like, this is what I want to do. I think I was watching a episode or something. Something was playing on BET that day, and they had this kid. I would love to know what that dude is. The dude's name is today, because there was this young kid, and there was like a scene in like a studio, of course, and they had everybody dancing, and they was interviewing the DJ, and then he just went back at it, and then he just started cutting, going in. I was like, yo.
That's what you want to do.
That's the wave right there, bro. And that was what convinced me. I'll never forget scratching up Dad's old Banky Banks record, trying to figure out how to scratch.
Yes.
I learned how to scratch before mixing two songs together.
Wow.
I learned a complete opposite way. I learned how to scratch first, and then I learned how to beat match two songs way after.
He told me you'd be in the basement practicing your ass off for nights.
That's where it started.
Yeah.
That's where it started, downstairs in the basement with a cassette deck, a portable CD player on batteries, one turntable, a house amplifier, and two house speakers. That's how it started.
Wow. Okay.
That's how it started.
Would you say, career-wise, that a momentous incident like Green Synergy was what
that
boosted your career?
That was the breaking point.
Sense?
Yeah, that was the breaking point. 2004, when I entered that. You know, I had like battle experience from before, but not on that level.
Because what type of doors did it open for you in particular?
Oh my goodness, that opened like, you know, residencies here, international jobs elsewhere. That broke down barriers for me.
So all of a sudden, by participating internationally in a competition like that, they started believing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it started before that. I had like a little support here and there from before that, but it really, you know, took off.
Yes.
From that first competition.
Yes.
It really took off. Locally, regionally. Where it started to take off internationally was the 2006 Green Synergy in the Bahamas that was on Tempo. That's when, you know, that's when you get that MTV Tempo coverage. That's when on the island started to see, like, yo, who's this guy? We need to get him here. And that's where it really took it up. It was after that. I mean, 2004 was like kicking down the door. 2006 was walking through the door.
Got you.
If you see what I'm there.
I want to highlight a moment that was not as glamorous, because you've discussed it in a lot of previous interviews you had. I think it was Youth Extravaganza 1999.
Yeah.
Because I heard you talking about it, but I always wanted to get the full analysis of what that was.
Sure.
Well, was it like a DJ competition that was organized, sort of?
It was part of Youth Extravaganza. Because at that time, DJing was a part of it. You know, you had singing, dancing, rapping.
So it was
I was all of that. So it was like a category. Not really, because you wasn't getting anything. It was more like a showcase.
Oh, a showcase.
It was more of a show, which it still is.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I don't really know it to be like like an interscholastic talent show from back in those times. It was more like a showcase.
Gotcha.
And the big talk at that time was, we're going to see Mixmaster Party and DJ Blaze finally show down, and that was the night.
Okay.
Everybody wanted to see it.
Okay. That was the
two big talk. Everybody, that was the talk. Was Party and Blaze on stage.
Okay.
And here comes this nobody.
Yeah.
Stepping in between them, and all my friends looked at me like, yo, you out of your mind. What the hell are you doing? You're going to go up here and get destroyed. I'm like, but we won't know that unless I try.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know the old saying, no trial and error. And boy, I was an error. That was a hell of an error.
You had items, bottles thrown at you.
Rocks, and because remember, we're talking about the old village. This was dirt on the ground. So rocks was easy to get that.
Oh, man.
Rocks was easy to get. I remember when one of them clipped me right here. If I shave the beard right now, you still see the scar from it. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. You have to go through. You have to go through that. It's God's way of testing you to see if you really want this.
Yeah.
And he put me on the test that night, though.
I'm very, very glad you mentioned God, because does your ability to not give up have to do with your relationship with God, with your faith?
Definitely.
What is your relationship like?
My parents raised me to be a God-fearing person, and I'm still that to this day. I'm raising my kids to be the same thing.
Right.
Without God, we wouldn't be here sitting down having this conversation, breathing air, waking up to see the mornings, waking up to see our families in the day. God is responsible for all of that. So definitely, I mean, many countless nights of prayer asking, please, this is what I want.
Yeah.
Throw whatever test you need to throw at me. This is what I want. I'll work for it. I'll do whatever you ask of me. And he blessed me with that. And being able to provide for my family, going back to that topic, doing what I love, traveling the world, doing what I love. God blessed me with that. And it wouldn't be possible without him. Yeah. I'm so grateful for that.
Is your faith and your religion also the reason why you don't drink or smoke?
No, that have a lot more to do with a lot of alcoholism in my family. Okay. So and make it worse, like I was always like, pounded on by my parents, don't drink, don't smoke. And growing up, my dad was very well known. So you can't slip up because somebody gonna go back and start check in. Got you. So I was so terrified to do anything. Okay. That I think it just molded me to that and just leave it at that. And then when you started working clubs now and festivals and all of that, and you see and you have to deal with drunk people. Yeah. I don't want ever be like that. Be like that. And if you know me, bro, I have no patience for drunkenness. None. I have no patience for drunkenness. No. So I have a lot to do with it, with the alcoholism and all that. And I just decided to just stay away from it because you can be successful. You can be in this industry without it. Yeah. But there's other people in the industry that, I call brothers in arms in the DJ community who also don't drink and are very successful. It's not something you have to do. It's something that you choose to do if you feel that, you do better when you're doing it, then, power to you, but it's not necessary. Absolutely not necessary. And I'm an advocate for that.
Love that. Understood. I want to emphasize on the Cut Creator part of your name because the DJ culture, they sort of promote from DJ to mix master, grandmaster, right. Cut Creator for a particular reason when they feel like they're up to that standard or title. Was there a particular reason to transition to the Cut Creator?
It's a funny story, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love to hear it.
It's not really, glamorous about it. Okay. Back in the day when we would buy records. Yeah. Those were the hard ones to find. Those battle records, the battle samples with all the different sound effects to use in battles. And one of the samples was the Cut Creator.
Okay. When
LL Cool J screams out Cut Creator, because if you know the history, LL Cool J's DJ in the beginning days was DJ Cut Creator. Yeah. And there was a song, I can't remember the name of the song particularly, but LL screams Cut Creator. And that's where the name came from. Because I remember going in a battle somewhere or doing a routine using that, and it just stuck. Yeah. It just stuck.
I'm glad we mentioned it because I literally asked everybody.
It just stuck. Nobody. The only person who knows the true origin of that story is Paulie. Because he was there when, we stumbled on the sample. He said, you should use that. And that's how that happened. Shout out to Mixmaster Paulie.
Shout out to Mixmaster Paulie one time.
He was very instrumental in me becoming what I am.
We'll get to that part. The Cut Creator, DJ Outkast, full-time DJ, father, husband, all-around family man, right? How do you balance it all, man?
It's a challenge.
And this is a question important for me too, because what we have in common is we're fathers.
You're a new father. Congratulations on that, man.
Thank you, man. Much appreciated.
It's a challenge, man. I mean, we work late nights. Yeah. So sometimes you come home, you're groggy. Sometimes you can't even catch yourself yet, and they're in there, Daddy, time to the day started. Like, how you gonna tell them no? Especially now, they're older now, so we help with homework or whatever assignments they have to do. And generally, you just want to spend time with them because they're growing up so fast. In a way, I know it sounds kind of selfish, but COVID was kind of a good thing. And I'll explain why. Because I was on the road and so busy so much that COVID forced me to slow down, and I spent so much time with the family during that. So in a way, I know COVID messed up a lot of people's lives, including my own, but it was a nice way to, it was like God's way of saying, hey, slow down. Yeah. This is what matters.
Correct.
And, you know, I got to spend a lot of time with them to a point where, okay, it's time to go back to school now. Get on going, boys.
But what does a day in the life of the Cut Creator DJ Outkast look like in the
6 o'clock morning, every morning.
Every morning.
Depends. If my wife is working night shift, where she comes home at 7, I'm up from 5:30. Because she's not home to assist with getting the kids food. So it's all on me. So I get up a little extra early. So make sure all what I have to get done is done. And get the kids up, get settled, make sure everybody brush their teeth, get dressed. Do you have anything to look over for school today? Do you have to do this? Make sure your hair is combed. Make sure your teeth, come. No, that face you wash. Come, wash that face again. That's all part of the morning. And of course, dropping the kids to school in the morning. And we do like a carpool system with some of their friends from school. So they come and, you know, it's a one big carload of kids, and, you know, that's never a quiet car, right? So that's how the morning starts. And then whatever else during the day, you know, whatever errands you have to run, or studio work, or commercials, or mixes, video content. You have that very small window to get what you have to get done until it's time to go to the power hour. Then power hour is finished. You have just enough time to, you know, pack up. Do we need anything for home? No. Go pick up the kids, bring them home, get them settled, whatever homework needs to be done, whatever needs to get done. And yeah, bedtime, say the prayers before they go to bed. Bedtime, you get, the greatest thing is when you have a night off, like, oh, the day is finally over.
I was just about to ask you if you have a night off.
If the night is finally over, you want to stay up and have a conversation, but I struggle. She could tell you, I struggle to stay up at the night because you're just so beat. You're just so beat. And then sometimes now, when you got to work that night, you have that whole day ahead of you. Okay, let me try to get at least an hour or two, rest in, then bam, up. Work till about maybe 2, 3, sometimes 4 in the morning. Come home, press reset.
Okay.
Back to the same routine.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
It's rough. It's difficult, but you kind of like, I want to say,
get used to it.
Not really get. It becomes part of your daily routine, where your body comes accustomed to it. You know,
as long as you hold yourself to the time management that you set into place.
Yes. And my wife can tell you I'm very strict with time management. Very strict with time management. Maybe it's the Dutch in me. I don't know.
But she also said that you were quite of a neat freak. That you would you know, take care of your equipment to the highest.
That is my mother's fault. That's my mother's fault. If you want to put a blame on somebody, that's my mother's fault.
It's a beautiful quality.
It's a great quality, and I don't know why people say it's not. It's a great quality because it's not being like, you know, OCDC or like it got to be clean. No, it's just a way of life, a lifestyle to just have everything neat. Yo, you ever been in somebody's car where just everything is around, or walk in somebody's house and just
too many times.
I can't live like that, bro. I'm sorry. It's the way my mother raised me. It's just everything has its place. Everything has to be neat, and I'm raising my kids with the same beliefs and upbringing that they could pass that down to one day their kids. You know.
Love it, man. I want to take this time to ask Stov3. Stov3, at this moment of the interview, do you have a question for the Cut Creator DJ Outkast? Not yet? Okay.
Give him time to process.
Yeah.
Give him time to process.
I'll just move in. If you do, just jump in. Awesome.
Good to go, man.
It takes an immense amount of practice to get to the level that you have gone to. The 10,000 hour rule applies to the Cut Creator DJ Outkast. I want to understand, back when you didn't have a family yet,
right?
And the moment that right now you do have a family, how much practice did you used to do aiming at your DJ career and DJ?
Well, in the early days, it was every day.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5, 6 hours a day.
3, 4, 5, 6 hours somewhere a day. And you would have like a rare regimen to it, or like a particular time you would...
Well, with me, again, like I told you, I started to learn scratching before mixing. So it would be like, okay, we're going to focus on scratching today. Then we're going to go from mixing one genre to a next. There would be, of course, beat matching, transitions.
Okay.
Like everything had its segments.
Right. So the different elements you would train like on a day.
Oh, and body tricks.
And body tricks.
Body tricks.
Body
I had a
tricks,
whole
that's
segment
category.
just for body tricks.
Yeah.
Spinning without getting dizzy.
Spinning without getting
spinning.
Oh,
like
around, so.
spinning without getting dizzy, because it looks simple enough, but if you don't keep your eyes straight or focus on something while you're spinning, you get dizzy very easily. Yeah. So all of that take time, practice. It's little things like that. Yeah. You know, it's the little fine details. It what comes to perfection. So that was part of it. But now your current state. My practice on radio.
The practice is on radio. I thought.
The practice is on radio. Yeah. Honestly, I try things on radio before I try it anywhere else. I swear to God. I swear to God, I try things on radio first and like, okay, this sounded good. Let's try that.
So you just be blatantly freestyling on radio.
So what I would do, I would go in and like put aside, okay, this is the genre I'm doing today, and I want to use these songs. But how it comes together, that's off the top. How it all comes together. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it fails miserably. Yeah. But
that's so exciting to hear, man. Like, at least for me as a DJ, you know,
a lot of it is trial and error, but most of the trial and error is on radio. To say I'm at home to actually practice, that rarely happens. The only time I really do that is if I'm working on a mix, or if I'm maybe putting together a commercial and I like the way these two songs sound, and I'll turn the stuff on just to see how it sounds. Mm-hmm. But to actually say I turned the stuff on and did that at home, that's been a while. Yeah. That's been a while. But the practice is radio, man. That's where the practice always is. I mean, you on every day from 2 hours. That's a perfect practice time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Honestly.
Now, we're learning things today. Who are some of the influences on your come up of becoming the Cut Creator DJ Outkast? Now, you mentioned Polly.
Okay, so we're going to go in two sections here.
Okay, go for it.
We're going to go with the local section first. Our homegrown, who paved the way for guys like me and you. You have your Mixmaster Party. Mm-hmm. You have your DJ Chef. Rest in peace, DJ Menace. Wilson. Jack the Hot One. DJ Terror. Dave Nice. These are all guys that paved it for Party Do Jason. These are all guys that paved it to make it even possible to make a career out of this. And mind you, when they were doing it, it wasn't really even considered a career yet. So they were still paving it for guys like us. Yeah. So you have to give it to those guys. And those were the guys I looked to for inspiration. Those were the guys that I used to go to parties. I didn't even care about looking at girls or trying to dance. I was just there to look and learn. Because remember, we didn't have internet. We didn't have YouTube back then. Right. So that was our classes. Yeah. I used to go and listen to these guys. And if I heard something new, I'd go and try it. And not try to do it exactly like they did, but do it in my own way. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that was the homegrown talent.
And that's particularly important, right? Learning things, but also in your authentic way, that you don't seem like
you don't become a biter. You don't become a biter. Yeah. You're implementing what you saw, but putting your own spin to it that makes you unique. Right. That was what I was trying to do. Yes. And then if you want to talk international, the big boys, Jazzy Jeff. That's the icing on the cake there. Jeff is on a whole different level.
The magnificent
Jeff does things you would never think to try, because he's just on that level of thinking. Yeah. Mixing, skill-wise, Jeff. Crowd rocking, Mike, Kid Capri. That guy's a monster.
He needs a mic. You give him a mic, and it's over.
Those guys are monster. Yeah. And those are two of my biggest influences when it comes to like technicalities and learning the different scratch patterns and all that. That would be Qbert. Okay. Shout out to Qbert wherever he is. Yeah. Craze.
Love Craze.
Scratch Bastard. These are guys that you look to like, jeez. Yeah. Amazing skill level.
Any influences from Europe in particular?
Wax Fiend and Prime. I remember the first time I met these guys.
Shout out to Wax Fiend and Prime.
Shout out to Wax Fiend and Prime, guy. Yo, these guys was doing things we didn't even think of yet. At the time, and it was.
Could you name an example?
Wax Fiend was doing like the way he was flipping certain songs, the way he was using the effects. I was like, I never touched effects in my life. Never touched an effect. Wax Fiend was the first person I saw using effects and Prime. But the way Wax was doing it, the way Wax was putting together mixes, the way Wax was cutting dub plates. It was crazy.
Love that.
Wax was so ahead of his time, and I always told him that. He was so ahead of his time. And I remember the first time meeting him, and everything out of his mouth was, I can't wait to come and visit St. Martin.
Yeah.
I would never forget that.
You know, I was probably too young, but I know that Prime came down. I saw Prime live.
Prime own a house here by now.
Yeah.
Prime own a house here by now.
But did Wax Fiend come down here?
Sure he did.
Okay.
If I remember, I still remember the first time Wax played here.
No
that
way.
was at Secrets, Port of Plaisance. That was the first time Wax ever played in St. Martin.
I was too young. I have no idea what
I remember that.
was.
That was the first time Wax came to St. Martin to play.
Killed
I
it.
believe he came with Mike. At the time, he was known as Shy Rock, but now known as Michael X.
Wow.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah. And then we did different shows here, and we also took them to Anguilla. We did shows in Anguilla.
What?
Yeah, that was Wax had a ball.
Okay.
Wax had a ball.
Love that.
We've done countless shows together, me, Wax, and Prime, and they also opened a lot of doors to the European market for me, and I'm forever grateful for that, man.
Okay,
you know this as much as I do. In our business, it's always about competition. It's the relationships you build over the years, and
absolutely.
And that counts, man. Because I still know people and still are good with people in the industry to this day that I met through Wax and Prime in Europe, and I wouldn't have known them if it wasn't for them.
Yes.
I wouldn't have played in certain clubs that are not even existent today in Europe because of them. And I'm grateful for that.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that.
Love that, man. Cut Creator DJ Outkast, what is the importance of management for a DJ? And I'm talking not managing yourself, but external management.
On a whole.
On a whole. And in your case, who manages the Cut Creator DJ Outkast
right
as of
now,
this moment?
Currently, Brad Hemmings, Caribbean Entertainment. My brother. Love him to death. He's changed my life. Shout out to Brad one time if he's seeing this.
Shout out to Brad.
It's depends where you are in your career.
Okay.
If you're just starting out, you need to build that first. You need to build that. You need to go and to clubs, start. Hey, my name is so and so. I'm upcoming. Go to Lotus, meet your man. You go to Kurt Latsagi, start introducing yourself on the scene. Go introduce yourself to DJs who's on the scene now. Make your name for yourself from now, and then just start building from there. Build your skill level. Build your resume. Build your SoundCloud presence, your online social media presence. Do that first before seeking out managers. Okay. That's my piece of advice. Okay. When you do reach and to go back to your question, yes, it's a key role, especially if you want to take things to an international level. Because when you're going into different markets now, it's looked at differently when you have proper representation. When everything is by the book, by the contract, everything is in black and white, everything is your press kit is put together. You need a mix, here is it. You need an EPK, here it is. You need to see what it's like when he's playing live. Here's a YouTube video. You want to know what a mix sounds like? Here's the link. Everything is put in place, and that should be done before a manager gets involved. And even when the manager does get involved, he will now know the industry, know the people to shop you to know the proper steps of getting everything in place. Okay, this mix sound good, but on the next one, do this instead of this. I'm going to be present at your next photo shoot because I want your poses to look like this. I like your logo, but let's redesign it. We're going to rebrand. That's when a manager comes into play. And when the manager does come in, and I preach this every single day, read that contract.
Yeah, absolutely.
Read the contract. Read the fine print. Know what you're signing, because they got a lot of fellas right now in a contract, don't know how to get out of it. Don't know what to do, and read that contract and make sure that person is looking after your best interest and not their own. I mean, it's a joint effort that you two are working together, but make sure they're there as a manager is a tool, but it's basically what the relationship you build with that person and how far you take it. My first manager was Duncan Van Heineken, DVH Entertainment. Duncan did a lot for me.
Shout out to Uncle Duncan.
And it ran its course, and we parted ways, but we're still cool and boys to this day. And love what he does.
Love to hear.
After that, my dad actually took over managing for me for a while. And he did his best, but at the end of the day, it wasn't his field. And I appreciated the effort that he was trying to put in, but when Brad stepped in, that's when everything changed, bro. That's when everything changed.
At what point, like, in which year did Brad step in?
What year did Brad step in?
How many years are you with Brad?
You know what? That's actually a good question. I have to really go back and think about that.
Okay.
Take
your time, and maybe it pops
over 10 for sure.
Over 10
over 10 for sure. Exact number, I'm not 100% sure, but it's over 10 for sure, because we're not only a managing relationship that we have, we have something way more. We're actually really good friends.
Good.
We check in on each other's kids. This was a man that was doing everything in his power to reach me after Irma. Like, we're actually good friends, and we work together as well on another aspect that I hope to pursue, you know, when the day comes when I do hang up the headphones.
Yeah.
To get into something else, which is booking agency.
Love that.
Booking artists, booking talent. That's something I will explore when the time comes. That's not happening now, but that's when the time comes. That's something I'm going to pursue.
It's good to have a plan after.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We can't spend records forever.
No.
Can't do it.
Can't.
I got 2 bad questions.
Okay. Starry has quick questions. Let's hear it.
First question.
Yeah.
Is in Sittin, from a economy standpoint, is DJing still looking to be a viable means of career path as a family man, as a business owner?
Okay.
It has its ups and downs, because we got to keep in mind we're on a tourist-based island where there's a slow season and a high season, and when that slow season kicks in, it's slow. You know, in every business there's undercutting, and I always spoke about this. It's something I always wish that would see happen, that we could form some sort of a union where we could all come together and say, listen, this is the base price, and, you know, we're not going lower than this, because, you know, at the end of the day, we have to protect ourselves as individuals, as a business. But, you know, you always have those go around and undercutting and look, at the end of the day, we all had to start somewhere, and we all had to start with your free gigs, your $50 gigs, your $100 gigs. But that goes back to building yourself before getting a manager. You have to know, okay, am I worth this now? Is it time to come up to this? And yes and no. It's a lot of work sometimes, because how to word it perfectly. You got to know how to balance it. You have those jobs where they only want you for an hour. Then you have the corporate jobs that, you know, pay better than this would, or they only want you for an hour. Can you come down on the price? And you know this. I ain't got to explain this to you. You know this. So yes and no. It can be, if you reach to a certain level and you're working consistently, then yes. But
I think the question stems from, as an up-and-coming artist in general,
it's difficult.
Creative, it's like, you know, do I stay Sittin and find a way to thrive, or do I have to be, you know, pursue those?
It can be done here, because I remember many years. Shout out to G Money. Shout out to G Money. G Money was in my ear for years. Why are you still here? Because I can still do what I love and be around my family.
Yes.
And I remember Brad sat me down one day, and I told him, G's always in my ear about leaving St. Martin. He said, why the hell would you do that? Bro, you are in a position where you could leave and travel to anywhere in the world coming from St. Martin. As long as you could get a flight to either Miami, New York, you could go anywhere. So why would you leave?
Yeah.
You're around your family. You're good where you are. And you're easier to sell. Because anybody could say, I'm a DJ from New York. How many of the DJs can we say we're bringing in from a tropical island? That was an easier selling point for Brad. So I was like,
that's a great perspective.
He made sense when he spoke it to me.
Yeah.
And to be fair, if I took my parents' only grandkids from them, I could not do that. To take my wife's parents' only grandkids from them, I can't do that.
Also a factor.
And I would love for my kids to grow up in the same environment that I did.
Yeah.
So my next question.
Is the camera overheating?
This is the main one.
Okay.
So my next question is, from a technology point of view,
Uh-huh.
because now we're seeing the whole AI movement and all that.
Yes.
From how much of it are you adapting? How much of it are you not concerned about? And how much you think is going to change DJing or entertainment?
I really haven't explored AI too much. I mean, I'm always open to technology, because the amount of improvements they made on DJ technology today is phenomenal. You have to keep in mind, we came from an era where we were spinning turntables on a diamond needle.
Yeah.
Now we're looking at something where we could take the vocals out of a song that was already recorded. Stems. Like the evolution of technology towards DJing is amazing. So I'm not totally against AI.
Yeah.
I'm open to it to see what it can bring to the table to better us. I mean, for years we always heard about these robot DJs and robots are going to replace the. No, they're not.
We're still not out of business. No, we're still not out of business.
No, they're not, dude. A robot would never be able to read a room like an actual human can. A robot would never be able to go into this room and say, okay, this is not going to work. It's going to stick to the algorithms that it was programmed to. We, on the other hand, now can assess it and move it from there. Can we use it as a tool in the future? Absolutely. Can we use it to something better? Our craft for the future? Definitely. Will it replace us? Absolutely not. I don't see that happening. In the movie industry, what those guys are striking for now, they're in a bit of a different situation. But in our industry, I don't really see it as a big issue.
Got you. Now, Cut Creator DJ Outkast, you've had the honor of working with a lot of artists.
Not just honor, bro. I've been blessed to work with a lot of the people.
Absolutely. And I'm speaking more in terms of being the road DJ for TOK, Rupee, Mr. Killer, most recently Cecile. What are the things that you've learned from being on tour with artists like those?
You'd see a whole different aspect of the business.
I can imagine.
A whole different aspect. Because a lot of the times when you travel with these artists, you're sometimes lucky to have a road manager there. So they're taking care of the business aspect of it.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, believe it or not, the road DJ becomes the road manager.
Oh.
Yeah. I've had to be road manager for TOK. I had to be road manager for Cecile. I even had to be road manager for Killer.
Holy crap, that's...
Like when a manager is not... Because believe it or not, a lot of these artists have certain demands in their riders that X amount of people have to travel with them.
Yeah.
But those are open to negotiations. And sometimes in the negotiations, okay, these two are traveling. Yeah. This person can act as the road manager, so we don't need to bring an additional person to save costs on flights and hotel.
Right. And how was that experience?
You learn. And even if you don't want to learn, you're going to learn.
Yeah.
And I had to learn. My first experience with that was with TOK on the road.
Okay.
And shout out to TOK. Those guys are my brothers. I love them like brothers.
Yeah.
That was my first experience with them, being a road manager. And I had to learn on the job. Literally. You had to learn the aspect of, okay, making sure that the rider is filled, making sure that the contracts are filled, making sure that everything is in place the way it's supposed to be, making sure there's enough rooms, everybody's per diem is paid, making sure that payment is made. And if the payment ain't made, we leave in the hotel. We have some issues like that as well.
Yeah. To be honest,
you have to learn.
Would you see yourself after the chapter of DJ?
Yes. That's part of the booking agency. That's part of it, because I've actually had to go on trips where I did nothing else but that. So I had to learn that. So, I could definitely see myself doing that once the headphones is hanged up for good.
Yeah.
Now, I will do it if it's asked of me.
Okay.
If it's, yo, Cass, we need this as a favor right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you, bro. Don't worry about it.
Love that.
Yeah, it's definitely a different aspect, because sometimes too, nothing against my artists, but sometimes you got to deal with some egos.
Yeah.
And it can be difficult.
Yeah.
But you got to know to play your cards right, play the game right, easing through the grooves, and just deal with it.
Now, I see you brought the Shadyville DJ chain.
You asked for this. You specifically requested this. I had to go and look for this thing, man.
Yeah.
I had to specifically go look for this.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
I haven't worn this in a while. I think I got this made in 2009. Shout out to D's Jewelry in New York. They're the same people that also did, if you remember, Fat Joe's Terror Squad TS. Joe had this huge, beautiful platinum necklace made with the big TS, stands for Terror Squad. He had it. Khaled had it. All of the people that was down with his clique had it. He also designed pieces for Joel Santana. He also designed pieces for most recently Benny the Butcher,
Okay.
and guys like that. So he's very reputable. I haven't spoken to him in a while, but he designed this piece for me, and it became like a trademark for me.
Yes.
It became like a trademark. This is when, you know, when Shadyville got involved, and when Shadyville got involved, with Gina got involved, it really changed my life, and that's when I had just redesigned my logo and everything as well. So I reached out to D, and D said, "Yo, I got you. Say less."
Love that.
And he designed this for me. And dude, the process of getting this to St. Martin was crazy. I had to take out insurance on it, and
yeah, of course,
it was
crazy. Happens, you know.
This was crazy, and as you could feel the weight of it.
It weighs a ton. Like last week, I got the honor of wearing it, and I fell to the ground.
So I did many shows with this piece on, and I literally had to take it off. I had to hand it to somebody on stage, like, because it's starting to slow me down.
Yeah.
But it became so reputable where people were asking for me to wear it on stage. And I was like, bro, I'm getting older. You know, I can't be lugging this thing all over the place. But and plus times have changed. Everything is yellow gold now.
Yes.
Different pieces. You know, you don't have them as long as no more. Everything is like chokers now. So times have changed. So I don't wear it as often, but it does come out for very special occasions. And I'll tell you one person that specifically asks for it all the time: Elephant Man.
Oh yeah.
And Ellie always asks me to wear this whenever I'm around him. So shout out to Ellie. But yeah, this was a defining piece.
So we know how you joined the Shadyville DJ collective, the story with DJ Kid, who came down here. But I was more curious on what type of connections did it open for you?
Oh man. A&Rs from Interscope, from Jive, from Def Jam to Island Records.
Yeah.
The endless relationships that I made through it.
Yes.
And radio personnel, managers in the field.
Yeah.
It just opened so many doors for me.
It's a whole network.
The network. People might look at it as like, oh, you know, maybe June is not doing much, whatever. It's not even about that, bro. It's the relationships and the networks that you make. That when you get later on in your career, you see how valuable that is.
Absolutely.
You see how valuable that is. And I'm so grateful that I've been a part of that, especially building not only just part of the Shadyville camp, but we were, you know, tasked with putting together the Caribbean element of it.
Yeah.
Which I find was extraordinary, knowing this was a huge U.S. fraternity, and they saw interest and saw fate in me to say, hey, come along with us. We want to build the Caribbean branch of it now. And they trusted me with that. And I still have a great relationship with them to this day, and I'm grateful for that.
Good.
Absolutely grateful for that. It changed my life, bro.
Yeah.
It really did.
How are we doing on time? 42? 42 as in 4-2. Okay. All right.
That's good, bad?
I'll tell you after.
Keep it under 20.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate it, man.
What was the impact of the Crew 187 boys on the Cut Creator DJ?
I will tell you something nobody else has heard.
Oh, I can't wait. We want the exclusive.
I will forever keep 187 close to my heart because they saved my life.
They saved your life?
And I'll explain you why. Because I was in such a rut at one point where I was just depressed. I was down. You
was depressed about what?
A lot of different things. Like the DJ career wasn't going where I wanted it to. Like, just, you know, everybody has those times.
Yeah.
Everybody has those times. And I remember we were just going, and I used to do that a lot. I used to just go on random drives just to go clear my head. And shout out to Big Homie Spoon. I will never forget. I must have passed him somewhere, and he calls me. He's like, "Yo, what are you doing? Turn back around, come back over here." And they welcomed me into their little group like a brotherhood. And some of them I knew, some of them I didn't, but they all became family, where we all looked out for one another. I would forever say that they saved my life, because I don't know where my head would have been at, because especially today, we always keep hearing about these stories, and we say how much mental health is an issue in today's society.
Absolutely.
And maybe I didn't know what it was I was dealing with at the time, but those guys helped me.
That's love.
That was family. And, you know, it started as a joke. If you look up the real meaning of 187, everybody knows it's homicide, it's this, whatever. 187 was 18 guys and 7 cars. That's what 187 was. That's how the number came about. 18 guys and 7 cars. That's how 187 started. That's what it was. Yes, that's what it was. Everybody knew us as hanging up outside of not even California, Grand Marché. That was Outkast and I'm there 187 outside of there back in the day, and that's how it started. Okay. And I decided that, yo, these guys saved my life. If I'm going up, they're going with me. And that's how it went. I was on MTV Tempo when 187 shirt.
Love that.
I made my first, before this, I made a gold piece locally with the 187 logo.
Representing.
I started voicing dub plates with 187 in it.
Making songs with 187.
Don't even get me started with songs, bro. Oh, listen. All of the songs, the hit music you heard from 187 was made from jokes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing was seriously done.
The first time I heard TINT, I think I was in primary school still. I think I was in and then everyone was talking about, like, what's this TINT thing?
TINT was not meant to happen.
No?
Was it? It was a night how all of the dumbness that we did started. It was all of us in our studio goofing around. That's what we did 99% of the time. Goof around. TINT was recorded in parts. Nothing was written. Spun say a line, spoon say a line, spun say a line, I say a line. It was done in parts, and then we glue it together. That's how TINT was made. I swear to God. If you want to dispute this, go ask Gilla. Go ask Big Homie Spoon. Go ask Sponge. They will tell you. That's how it was done. Same thing with Beat the Monkey, our next nonsense song. And you would have ever think, we would have never imagined them songs would have been as big as they were.
And they're classics to us, man. Like,
big as they were.
But do you think culturally we're missing that now? I feel like
good question.
Kimbe doing this thing, but less comedy. Everything is either very serious or
I wouldn't say it's missing. You have to keep in mind, times change. Times change, music evolves, everything evolves. Half of the music that comes out today, bro, 98% of the music that comes out today, I hate. I can't stand it. But the thing is, I'm not in this for playing music for me. It's about playing for others. You have to entertain people. So even stuff that you don't like, you have to play.
Yes.
So we were doing music for nonsense. And in a way, I find the music of today is being done out of nonsense, if you ask me. Half of the stuff they're making now is nonsense, but people like it, so we have to run with it. But half of the stuff that we did in our time, Jesus, give me strength. I shake my head just at the thought of it, especially the making process of it. Oh, boy.
Well, that's one chapter. Another chapter, which is actually very known, and what I've always wondered is, why do you gravitate towards wrestling so much?
It was a childhood love, man.
It
was a childhood love. I'll never forget the first time I saw it on television. It was Ric Flair versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. It was on WCW. We was on vacation in Orlando. My sister, myself, and my parents. I was just channel browsing, and I landed on this. And instantly fell in love. Instantly fell in love. I mean, at the end of the day, we all know it's scripted. We all know it's this. But at the end of the day, it's the key element of the entertainment of it. But let me tell you something. We think it's scripted. A lot of that thing that they do is 100% real, bro. Go and ask some of those guys the surgeries they've done, the therapy they've had to do. Look at a guy like Mick Foley. That guy has had over 87 surgeries with over 260 stitches. He is missing his ear. From wrestling that everybody thinks is fake. Dude, a lot of the thing that those guys do to their bodies on a nightly basis is tremendous. And a lot of people don't notice. I actually went to the training for this. I went to the training for this to actually learn to take a bump, to hit the ropes. If you don't hit the ropes right enough, you will hurt yourself.
There's a lot of mechanics
There's mechanics to it, and it's had me so intrigued. But another big part of my childhood that made me who I am today, and it might sound silly, but he was my hero growing up, and I told him this to his face on a video call when I had a chance to speak to him. Brett, they hit my heart. I told him this. I said, bro, you made me who I am today. And that's facts.
Yeah.
Which is why he did that video for me that I posted some time back. He was such a big part of my childhood, of grooming me to become the person that I am today, because he's also a family man. He's also somebody that takes his craft very serious, that executes everything to the best of his ability. I got that from him. And he was such a childhood hero to me that's why I wanted to run down that wrestling footsteps, because of him. Bret Hart. He was a hero to me. And I told him that to his face. And I really wanted to, you know, follow that dream. You know, everybody has that childhood dream of, you know, doing something, and then later in life you have to snap out of it and do something else. Yeah. But everybody had that childhood dream. That was mine. Okay. And I'm blessed to know to this day I still have great relationships with people in the company. Remember, I don't know if you remember, some years back we had wrestling here in St. Martin. Yeah, we did, in the auditorium.
Same reaction I have. What?
So years ago, when WCW was still in business, they came to St. Martin, because that was the company they was known for doing shows outside of the U.S. That was WCW. That was when Ric Flair came, Sting came, the Nasty Boys came, God rest his soul, Ravishing Rick Rude came. All of these guys were here in St. Martin. A lot of people don't remember that. I remember going to, as a kid with my dad to that, even making signs to hold up in the crowd. Later on in life, we had the opportunity to bring a company out of Puerto Rico called the WWC, the World Wrestling Council, which is run by WWE Hall of Famer Carlos, missing his last name. He's a Hall of Famer, legend in Puerto Rico when it comes to wrestling, and his son is Carlito, and the luchadors and all of that. Wrestling run in that family, and they brought the show here. We had Jerry the King Lawler here, we had Booker T here, we had Jeff Hardy from the Hardy Boys here. A lot of people don't remember this. Some big names. A lot of people don't remember this. We arranged all of that, and unfortunately, you know, the show wasn't really turned out, because when you hear wrestling, people want to see the big names. Your John Cena, your Randy Orton, your this, your that. But the budget wasn't there for that.
Booker T.
Those are the people you want to see, but people want to see who they're seeing on TV now. So people did come who are true wrestling fans, but if you turn on the TV, the first person you see is a John Cena or The Rock or something like that, and that's who they want to see. We don't have the budget for that here in St. Martin. We don't. But the great part of it was people from the WWE did come to scout our village, did come to scout different locations to see if a show was possible. But our market is not big enough for that. You would have to take that to a Jamaica or a Trinidad, where the population is bigger for them.
That doesn't surprise me neither.
But they were here. Yeah. We did have them here. They were scouting here.
You could say that you represented here.
And they invite me every year to come to shows, and then the schedule just doesn't work out. But one way or the other, you must see me on a camera shot at WrestleMania sometime. It's going to happen. I just don't know when yet. It's going to happen.
DJ Outkast, the quote, "The world will come to know my name."
Yeah.
Is that still an ambition of ours? First of all, it could be an ambition to the Cut Creator DJ Outkast, but is it really what Chantry Hodge would want?
Yes. Yes. It was, that line was thrown at me once when someone wrote a press release for me.
Okay.
And it stuck. I said, I like that line. And I stick to that line because as much as I have done in my 25 years doing this. 26. If you count this year. So I counted 25.
Okay, what up?
In my years doing this, I've been blessed to travel different parts of the world. But there's still a lot of people that don't know the name yet. So my mission is to become that household name. To become that name when you mention the word DJ, that's the name that pops to your mind.
So in a practical sense, what is the next move for the Cut Creator DJ Outkast to
production
towards that?
I would say production.
Production of songs?
Production really. Like if it comes to remixes or doing original content. I'll tell you another person that inspires me greatly. Look at a guy like Khaled, man.
You guys, everybody together.
I've known Khaled for years.
You've known Khaled?
Sure. We did shows in Miami in a little club where Khaled actually really got his start. It was a little club, couldn't hold no more than 100 people, called Madhouse. Couldn't hold no more than 100 people, and Khaled used to be in there shelling the place. And I've done DJ Khaled. Sure.
Another one.
We the best. Khaled is good people, man. And he so loves the DJ culture.
Yeah.
And he decided to not just take the DJ culture to one extent to just, take the DJing aspect to a different extent. He wanted to make the DJ look like an artist, and that is what he's done. He said that to me years ago, and look where he took it. The man is a multi-billionaire today. He has collaborations with every artist that you could think of. And he said that in an interview that he did on Drink Champs, that came through his years of DJing, his years of cutting dub plates, collecting dub plates, of how he came about doing these collaborations with different artists on one song that you would never dream of seeing. Khaled put Jay-Z and Nas on a song together, bro. You remember the beef they had? He did that.
Yeah.
He put collaborations together we never thought we would see. He put Skilly Bang and Bounty Killer on a song together. So to take DJing to that level, that's the end goal.
Yes.
You want to become a household name like a DJ Khaled.
Yes.
And he inspired all of us to do that.
Yes.
And I applaud him for that. He did something that we all thought was impossible.
Yeah. And
he made it possible. Shout out to Khaled for that, man. And he being also a family man.
Absolutely. He named his last two album, an album after his son.
One of his albums was, I think the other one was.
Father of a
he
Son.
always involves his family in everything he does, and that's to be appreciated. It really is.
Good, yeah, man. I'm on that same wave. And on that note, Cut Creator DJ Outkast, I thoroughly enjoyed this interview.
Thank you.
I want to make sure to give you your flowers when you still here.
Oh man.
As a young
thank you so much, bro.
DJ, you're a role model to all of us.
And that's what I try to be. I really do. Because at the end of the day, I can't do this forever.
Yeah.
So the younger generation coming on after me is who have to take the reins once I'm done.
Exactly.
So guys like you and everybody else who's doing it now, even those who watching this wants to do it one day, you are the future.
Yes.
You are the future. I can't do this forever. So if I can inspire and advise, I mean, you know as much as I do that teaching, somebody asked me the other day about teaching them. Teaching is much easier said than done because it is easier to show than it is to put into words and explain it theoretically.
Right.
So I applaud those who do teach because I do know those who do teach. That is something I always thought about doing as well. I traveled to Thailand one time and I went to the Creator DJ School. Amazing facility, 3 floors. Beginner, intermediate, advanced. Shout out to Obama Selector who runs that facility. Yeah. Amazing. I always wanted to do something like that here when I hang up the headphones for good. Yeah. But shout out to those who teach and put it into a theoretical explanation to explain someone the basics of doing what we do because it's not easy to teach. No. It really isn't. No. So that younger generation, if I can advise them and guide them in the right direction, I will.
I was just about to say, because from the start when we started the show, you were always somebody that we can call on, ask for advice, ask for DJing, career advice. The first time I met you, I was on your radio show.
Yes, I remember that.
A while back, and
you were the absolute first guest.
Yes, on the Power Hour.
You were the first ever guest.
Say that shit.
You were the first guest DJ. And even that to this day makes me think I should start doing that more often. But you will forever hold that distinction that you were the first guest DJ.
My man. Hey. Bro, just to end it off, where can the people find you? I mean, it's obvious as hell, but where can the people find you?
I mean, it's easy, man. Everything is on social media now. It's, DJOutkast.com, the Facebook, the Instagram. I'm trying to keep up now with my YouTube content. So everything is online now, but DJOutkast.com is the quick and easiest way to find me. And of course, hopefully I'll be in your city sometime soon. If not, your local club, wherever I'm at, I'll try my best to be there. But thank you to all you. Of course, everybody involved in this production, everybody watching, and you took the time out to listen to what I have to say. It is always appreciated because without y'all, I would not be able to do this and support my family doing what I love, and I'll forever be grateful.
We appreciate you, bro. See you guys on the next episode. Peace.